Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. So I want to thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, viewing, watching, and listening. I truly appreciate it. It really means a lot. And I will be definitely doing more over time, especially when it comes to Patreon and Spotify alike with exclusive videos and episodes. So, but for now, we're going to do our free episodes, our free content. We're going to continue talking and listening in on just damn near everything. Why not? So let's get into it. So we are going to talk about Brandy's album Human. So Human is the fifth studio album by American singer Brandy. It was released on December 5th, 2008 by Epic Records, Knockout Entertainment, and KOCH Records. The album was Norwood's debut Epic Records release following her split with Atlantic Records in 2005 and her reunion with longtime collaborator and mentor Rodney Jerkins, who exclusively produced and wrote most of the album with his songwriting collective. Despite being generally well received by critics, Human debuted at number 15 on the U.S. Billboard 200, with opening week sales of 73,000 copies, becoming Brandy's lowest charting album since her eponymous debut, 1994. As of 2012, Human has sold 214,000 copies in the U.S., failing to match the commercial success of predecessors. While leading single "Right Here" Departed scored Norwood her biggest chart success since Full Moon, 2002. The second and final long distance was not as commercially successful. Human would become the only album Norwood recorded with Epic Records after departing both the album and Rock Nation in 2009. Okay, so I didn't know that. Initially, Norwood would reflect on disliking the album, blaming its lackluster performance on a lack of vision from all involved parties. However, in later years, Norwood has said she's become fond of the album. So what I had spoke on recently in my last video when it came to Aphrodisiac, her and Rodney Jerkins was not getting along. They weren't talking, and in this album, he is a part of the album, and why not? Because life is short, and I think that when you work with someone that you've worked with for a long time, you get to work on new things and kind of experiment more in a new time. And as far as for promotion and how this album was released, as you can see, where I've spoken on other artists and on how things like this happen with labels, it does not chart as well. It may not sell as much. But this album was recorded between April 2005 and September 2008. So, she wanted to make sure, even within working from Aphrodisiac, that she would come out with something in the next few years, or, well, as it took 4, but and in years to come. So Brandy Norwood released her fourth studio album, Aphrodisiac, in June 2004 amidst the well-publicized termination of her short-lived business relationship with record executive and entertainment manager Benny Medina. Okay, Norwood ended her contract with his Los Angeles-based Handprint Entertainment after less than a year of representation following controversies surrounding Medina's handling of the single "Talk About Our Love" and failed negotiations of a purported co-headlining tour with fellow R&B singer Usher. Despite the negative publicity, Aphrodisiac emerged as Norwood's most critically acclaimed album by then, but became a moderate seller on most music markets. The album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 albums chart, but while it went on to sell more than 416,000 copies in the United States, it generally failed to chart or sell noticeably elsewhere. Oh no. Kanye produced Talk About Our Love reached number 6 on the UK singles chart, but later singles such as Aphrodisiac and Who Is She to You failed to score successfully on the popular music charts, and promotion for the album soon ended. Oh wow. At the end of 2004, after 11 years with the company, Norwood asked for and received an unconditional release from her original label, Atlantic Records. By the time her contract expired, several of her longtime patrons, such as music producer Daryl Williams and industry executive Sylvia Rohn, had left the company, and Norwood felt mismanaged by her new team, of which she found was looking more towards the hip-hop artist on the label and didn't know what to do with her. Completing her contract with Atlantic Records, a compilation album compiling her first 4 studio albums with the company, entitled The Best of Brandy, was released in March 2005. Now, I actually had that. Thereupon, Norwood reportedly started shopping for a new record deal under Knockout Entertainment, her brother's Ray J Vanity label, which would co-venture her subsequent releases, including her 5th album, which she started recording independently. So she wanted to be able to do things, like I said, with most artists, her way. And why not? I shouldn't have to. And she said it, begging and pleading, like, no, I'm tired. She, and I think that there had to been a different change for her. So, but yeah, Norwood began recording the album in 2005, breaking away from her usual formula, which saw her setting up projects with former main producers such as Keith Crouch, Rodney Jerkins, and Timbaland. She entered the studio with several songwriters and producers to record new music, including Louis Winding and Frederick Tau from Danish production team Maximum Risk. So direction changes resulting from additional sessions left his songs unused. So there were certain songs that certain producers and writers were giving Brandy that ultimately weren't used. They may have been demos. They may have not been fully worked on. So, and a lot of artists do that, where they work on certain songs and it's like, maybe I might not do this. But then there's songs that are already completely done. They just felt like, nope, it don't need to be on the album, or this may not piece with the album right now. There's that too. So when they be saying that people have worked on 30 or more songs, it's really, there's at least another 20 or more that were demos, in the sense of they may have put a piece on and never finished. Why not? Because they were working on it. It makes sense, right? In December 2006, Norwood was involved in a fatal automotive accident on Los Angeles-San Diego freeway. The accident claimed the life of a 38-year-old driver of a Toyota that was struck by Norwood's Range Rover. Norwood was neither arrested nor charged with a vehicle manslaughter due to insufficient evidence. Nevertheless, multiple lawsuits were filed against her, all of which were ultimately settled out of court by her civil attorney. So, despite the fact that she wasn't charged and didn't have an arraignment and all that, she did settle out of court for these people because, this was horrible. Posing an extraordinary hardship for Norwood and her family, she stepped down from her role as a judge on the 2nd season of the amateur talent contest, America's Got Talent, and went into hiatus. Yeah, she didn't feel as though from this accident that she should be seen. Like, you know, okay, yes, I'm on America's Got Talent, but and that's cute money for me right now. But I don't even want to be seen. And honestly, it wasn't to me, it didn't give no publicity stunt, because it's just like, if it was a publicity stunt, she'd still be out and being on America's Got Talent and being like, you know, as we speak, you guys, like, I'm talking with the family and everything's gonna be okay. Like, that's a publicity stunt to me. When you don't want to be seen because you took a life, that shows like you genuinely felt bad that that could have been anyone, you know, or someone that she actually didn't think that she knew, and they're gone, you know. But it's sad. Expanding on dealing with the aftermath of the tragedy, Norwood explained, I just wanted people to know that this wasn't news. It's not something that should be talked about like it's gossip. You don't like me, fine, but don't use this situation to try to hurt me, because the guilt of being involved is enough. It's something that I'll never truly get over. While the incident put a halt on the album's production, Norwood soon resumed recording, which found to be therapeutic. I had to face it and find the strength to move forward. Connecting back with music has definitely helped me through everything. Once I go back in the studio, the butterflies went away. But yeah, she, you know, and she's collaborated with Natasha Bedingfield too. But you know, like I said, the sake of just how that situation was, she was already feeling kind of odd. But yeah, that there was controversies that people were trying to put on her as well. Um, yeah. Yeah, she wanted to dismiss this album as too pop, and she felt pressured to come up with different songs. Commenting on this decision, she later elaborated, I was listening to the voice of my team more so than what was going on inside of me. With Human, I felt like I wanted to do more R&B music, and that's not what we decided to do on that album. So, all right, so let's get into the track list. So track 1 is Human intro. Track 2 is The Definition. Track 3 is Warm It Up with Love. Track 4 is Right Here Departed. Track 5 is Piano Man. Track 6 is Long Distance Interlude. Track 7 is Long Distance. So Bruno Mars actually worked on Long Distance, okay? Track 8 is Camouflage. Track 9 is Torn Down. Track 10 is Human. Track 11 is Shattered Heart. Track 12 is True. Track 13 is Acapella, Something's Missing. Track 14, First in Love. Track 15 is Fall. Yeah. And Natasha Bedingfield worked on Fall with her. And then there's the Circuit City exclusive edition bonus track, Right Here Departed, which was a radio edit. And then there's the Walmart exclusive edition bonus tracks, which had that edit. Well, actually, no, it had a different edit. It had two different. It had a remix and a different edit. That was for the radio. And then there's the North American iTunes Store and an international digital edition bonus track, Gonna Find My Love. And then there's the iTunes and International Digital Store Deluxe Edition bonus tracks, which was Lock It, Locked in Love, track 18, Right Departed, with, of course, one of the remixes. Well, the remix is Mad Decent, Right Mad remix. But track 19 is Long Distance Acapella. Track 20 is Right Here Departed music video. Yeah. So there was different digital, if you will, releases, well, editions, which, you know, when we talk about artists that were coming out around this time, like the mid to late 2000s, like you'll notice like they had bonus tracks that were added on to the deluxe. And it's just like, okay, so now we're getting into bonus tracks. For real, for real. Okay. But yes, there's the Australian and European Amazon MP3 Deluxe Edition bonus track, which has the Seamus, Haji, and Paul Emmanuel Club mix and Right Here Departed music video. But yeah, it was just pretty much there was mixes that were able to be purchased as well. And to be honest with you, she of course felt as though at this time and with this album, it just wasn't giving enough for her. But over time, she felt as though this album is really a staple in her life and something that connects and is a part of her. And what better way to be able to name it Human, right? She's human to be able to feel as though she didn't like it at first, but then now she enjoys it. But I thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and I'll be back with more.